Just now we're going to have a little bit of Easter Sunday Bible teaching. David Montgomery, a member of our congregation who often teaches with us, isn't around these days because he and his wife Gwen have gone over to Regent College in Vancouver for a sabbatical. Their plans there have been affected, just as our lives have, by coronavirus. So Monty's found himself with not quite the agenda that he thought he was going to have, and he's therefore a little bit freer. And this morning he's able to join in with me and to teach on our Easter teaching series. So it's a real joy for me to be able to introduce Monty coming to teach. He's going to share with us a couple of Easter reflections, a couple of characters in the Bible, and thinking particularly about how they responded to the resurrection of Jesus. I think that makes these reflections very interesting because they serve as an invitation to us to think about how we're responding to the resurrection of Jesus. So I'd encourage you to pay attention, to listen carefully and prayerfully, and to see what God might be saying to you and inviting you to think about with the resurrection of Jesus. To prepare us for that, I'm going to read a couple of short passages, not this time from Mark's Gospel, but from John's Gospel. So first of all, a passage from chapter 19. Later, Joseph of Arimathea asked Pilate for the body of Jesus. Now Joseph was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly, because he feared the Jews. With Pilate's permission, he came and took the body away. He was accompanied by Nicodemus, the man who had earlier visited Jesus at night. Nicodemus brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds. Taking Jesus' body, the two of them wrapped it with the spices in strips of linen. This was in accordance with Jewish burial customs. At the place where Jesus was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. Because it was the Jewish day of preparation, and since the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. And then a second passage from John chapter 20, just beginning to read there at verse 24. Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hands in his side, I will not believe it." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Jesus did many other miraculous signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are recorded that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name.